Alright. Terror, fright, suspense, mystery, suicidal thoughts, dressed always in black, wear makeup. Perhaps for most of us, if we see somebody looking like that, we'll say, well, that's one weird person. Huh. Okay, so I have to say to that, okay, I see your point, let's not drag about it. However, there is more than meets the eye here, of course. There's more than meets the eye here, okay. So, it's not that they're different from the rest of us, it's just that they basically choose to follow another kind of lifestyle, right? I bet if you guys probably live in a normal community where everybody dresses usual, looks usual, and all of a sudden you come out and looking dressed in black, they're probably staring at you and probably freak out. Okay, but the thing is that the thing that they don't understand is that this is a phase. The society itself brought it upon them. That society brought it upon themselves. Okay, so it leads me to this, that God's subculture has become one of the most recognized movements of society and has caused great change, has caused great influence among its members. So what is really God? It's the beginning of a new era, age of self-expression, see the world from a different view, a new style, a whole new dark concept that will change the world. Okay. So, the way this influence was first represented in literature. So it will be represented in literature, becoming a popular in God's subculture in music and movies, and God's subculture in modern society. So, God's subculture, God literature started around the 19th century, which basically was themed on medieval themes with gloomy castles, dungeons, spirits, and mysteriously disappearances. Where basically, to short, it's all about paranormal activities and supernatural too. Primary aiming to invoke terror by emphasizing mystery, cruelty, and among other horrors. This information was provided by Professor Donna Campbell from the University of Washington State. Okay, so I'll start by giving you some of the examples of one of the greatest authors that marked the era of Gothic literature, or the Gothic Enlightenment. So, I'll start by talking about Edgar Allan Poe, who was an American writer around about 1809 through 1849. He died in a very young age. He was the first one to explore the dark intellect, who mainly he perhaps might be the one that mainly focused on the dark novel and expand its definition. Much of his work was not credited until his death. He found the unique taste of psychological thrilling tales that look inside the depths of the human mind. And one of his best examples are The House of Usher and The Raven. I don't know if you guys have probably read it or heard it before. It's pretty sad. Alright. This information was provided by the Poetry Foundation. And then Mary Shelley, we probably have heard of her because she was the one that wrote Frankenstein. Perhaps this might be her best work she ever done, which was she was mainly influenced by the fact that her children died at a young age, probably I think around 6 months was the first child she had, and he died. So, here's a very interesting quote that I found from Andrea Thunberg, who's also a philosophy teacher from the Brandeis University of Massachusetts, who says that Frankenstein is mainly a story which will speak the mysterious fears of the nature and awake thriller horror story to take the reader dread to look around, to curdle the blood and quicken the beating of the heart. Okay. And we also got Bram Stoker. Who hasn't heard about Bram Stoker since he was the one that created Dracula? He was an Irish writer that perhaps that he might be the only one that might not really experience like most depressing events. But he was greatly influenced by one of his colleagues. And the main point of Dracula is about exotic fantasies of romanticism with the theme of seduction and evil. This was provided by Robert Stahl, who is also criticized about Dracula. All right. Okay. So now we move from the frightening era of what it was, the Gothic Enlightenment, to where Goth subculture will now influence on the modern industry of music and movies. Okay. So the Gothic music main point was about promoting topics about evil and death, tends to talk about unhappy aspects of society, but really to find a different way of thinking about life, to find the beauty in life, pain, and death, all in the quest of immortality. This information was provided by the Ontario Religious Tolerance Organization. Well, as we can see, well, you know, we have seen the popular version of the vampire, which is Twilight. I know, funny, huh? And then we got Sleepy Hollow from Tim Burton, The Nightmare Before Christmas on Tim Burton, which today is still one of the popular icons today. And then from the music, we got Marilyn Manson, Evanescence, and My Chemical Romance. This guy really creeps me out every time I see him. I don't know why, but I just see this guy, and I think he's the one that is like, must have been like really dark. He must have been really happy. Anything happy going on. Okay. All right. So with the music industry, as you know, also vampires have been hitting the movies and books so far. You know, like the Twilight becoming a vampire phenomenon among teens, which in fact, when Twilight first came around December 2008, it made $400 million, as highest grossing movie by a female director. And then from there, the product went crazy as well. Okay, so now we embark the new era of change, which has started around 1980s. Members were drawn to a lifestyle of literature, music, and fashion, which Berlin based on. After that, their groups were mainly stereotyped about being like sadistic, having suicidal, being a bad influence among other members. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So what you like to keep in mind is that we just brought ourselves being open-minded about this. So, like I said, I introduced you about Gothic literature, Gothic in the modern industry, and Gothic as in society itself. Thank you.